A web series called Misadventures of a Pacific Professional will be released today online, and it follows the life of a young, successful Pasifika woman who's constantly bumping up against unconscious bias in the workforce and how she handles it in a way that acknowledges her Pasifika values. Joining us now to talk more about the web series are the creators and producer, husband and wife, International Women's Day, wife and husband duo, Tupe Solomon-Tanoa'i and Esera Tanoa'i. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Nisayandra Vanaka, thank you very much.
Tarofa lover.
Tarofa lover indeed. Well, firstly, tell us more about the web series.
Just first of all, thank you so much for having us on here. We're really excited. I woke up today with butterflies. We're so excited to share this series with the world. I think... just to talk a little bit about my background. So I'm an international civil servant and a former diplomat. Over, the course of my career, there have been, I've been doing a lot of thinking about leadership, and it really compelled me to write this story. We just kind of, woke up one day. I was like, there's this story that I really feel I need to tell, and, put it down on paper. And then the characters just became so real that I had to share it with other people. And as a creative person, that was incredibly scary because, in my professional life, I'm used to debating ideas. I'm discussing policy, getting to the best outcome. But these were my own ideas, and, it was, something very personal. So it was something that was pretty scary. But I was emboldened by the belief that this is a story that needs to be told. Our Pacific people, we face a lot of barriers in the workplace, and I think that comes down to effective leadership looking different to different people. So traits like humility and service, those aren't traits which are associated with leadership unless you come from a Pacific background. So that's what the series is about. It's about a young Pasifika woman who is climbing the corporate ladder, the unconscious bias that she faces in the workplace, and her internal struggle to deal with it. So on the one hand, she was raised to be humble, and on the other hand, she descended from warriors. So those two guiding forces battle it out and help her to find a way to deal with the struggles that she faces in the workplace.
And you got me hooked already. Can you share a bit more, from maybe giving an example from your own, background, which has found its way into the web series of, what you're talking about, especially in terms of unconscious bias?
So there are 6 webisodes, and each of the webisodes, deals with a different incident. And these, while I have experienced each of these things in the workplace, I know from my conversations with my girlfriends and with other Pacific people that these experiences aren't unique to me. And since we've started, talking about the series, and we've started promoting it on social media, the really wonderful thing is that a lot of people have talked about what they've been experiencing. And what we want to do is create the space for people to share, what they've encountered. And I think, there are a number of ways which unconscious bias manifests itself, and I think one of the things that was important for me was that this does not become a finger-pointing exercise, because it's not about blame. Unconscious bias is just the way that our brains are wired. Our brains are wired to recognize patterns, and so what we're trying to say with this series is, hey, what you think Pacific people, are all about, actually the idea is really wide. Our narrative is much broader than people have been led to believe. So I think in terms of, specific examples, so sometimes people are reacting against her age, sometimes they're reacting against her race, and sometimes it's her gender, that people are trying to slot, where does our character fit in? How they're just trying to make sense of, why are you here? And, as a as a Pacific professional myself, I've found myself in situations where I'm constantly having to prove why I deserve to be where I am.
Changing mindsets and bringing the solutions-based. I like that. Very good. In terms of bringing the whole concept to life, because before we came on air, this is your first time, putting a production together. Tell us about that and that journey. And Esera, you can join in too.
Yeah, it was pretty scary, but the thing is, we knew that this was something that would really touch a nerve for a lot of people, so we felt like this was maybe a responsibility for us to try and get this story out there. And for us, we've never produced a movie or anything like that. I think what we've found is we've learnt different skills throughout our time, and we've used those skills to try and get this thing on the ground, and we're just blown away with how well it's gone, and just the people that we've aligned ourselves with, they just made the project just really, really shine. So we're really happy with that. Yeah.
Can you talk to me more about that, guys? Because I, like many others, we have great ideas, and we want to go out and achieve them. And from what I gather, maybe not so much experience, but that obstacle of overcoming lack of experience in, say, filmmaking and that. What was that seed or genesis that said, no, forget it, we're just going to step out in faith and do this thing?
She said we're going to get it done, and I said okay. So she said I just jumped in. But it was quite scary. Yeah, and the thing is, it's sometimes you just gotta leap out. You just take a leap of faith. And dude, I'm 40 years old, and this is my first time jumping into this. I really should have done this a lot earlier. Having been through it now, I'm like thinking, why didn't we get started earlier on? But that's something a lot of people say. So the thing is, we're started now. So, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, for the last 13 years, we've been busy raising our two daughters, and for a long time I just suppressed my creative side because I was focused on my career, because keeping a roof over our heads, putting food on the table. We were just busy with that kind of stuff. But on my leadership journey, I'd just done so much thinking about these issues, and I just felt compelled to write about it. And then also just with Ez turning 40, and that milestone's not far away from me too. I just kind of thought there's so many things that I've just pushed aside, but God gave me these talents, so I should use them, and I should use them to say something that I want to say.
Nice. What do you want viewers to take away from the misadventures of a Pacific professional when they watch?
For us, the ultimate goal is to create a space for conversation, and what we would like to encourage is the idea that there are different ways of operating, and there are different ways of leading, and to have stronger organizations and get to better outcomes, you need that range, you need that diversity, and the onus shouldn't be on the Pacific person to change themselves to fit the Balangi mold. The onus should be on organizations to be more inclusive, to allow different ways of operating.
And of course, for all of our listeners and online viewers, where can they go to watch the misadventures of a Pacific professional?
Yeah, so you can jump on our social media pages. We've got a page on Facebook, Poparati Productions, P-O-P-O Ratsi Productions, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and we have a Twitter account as well, so we'll share the link.
Very good. And before we leave, Esera, it's International Women's Day today, of course. So right now, in front of a worldwide audience, Solomon-Tanoa'i, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me something or share with the world what your wife means to you.
Oh, my. You don't have an hour? Well, Tupe is someone who I'm very proud that she's a Samoan New Zealand woman who represents us out in the world, and I'm in awe of her every day. So my job is to support her and to help her do what she does, you know, her magic, and to help our kids become just like her. So
come on, come on. They were coming. Those tears were coming, but hey, the love continues, and thank you so much. Once again, it's a very big thank you to the creators and producers, husband and wife duo, Tupe Solomon-Tanoa'i and Esera Tanoa'i. All the best, and we will have you back on your next production.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
God
Cheers.
bless. Thank you so much.